Good to see you. As
Good
I
to
said,
see
thank
you.
you for being here. So, so what have you guys been up to? I mean, I've seen you a couple times. I've seen some good press coming out of it. I know we're just coming out of CES as well. So tell me kind of where you are at a point in time in the company and the product suite.
Sure. So the company's evolved a lot in the last year. And to kind of put things into perspective, when I started, we had 12 offices across 7 countries. And that was about a year and a half ago when we launched the US. And now we have 25 offices across 18 countries. So it's been a very rapid year of expansion. Thank you so much. And we also just closed $30 million in funding last week.
Top.
And I think a lot of this is focused on some new products that we invented and developed over the last couple of years that we call outstream video advertising. Some people might call it native. And conceptually, the way that we've approached the marketplace with this is we're a publisher-first organization.
And publisher, you mean typically guys that have transformed themselves from print publications to online publications, mostly.
Exactly. And so our technology is a video SSP ad server, right? I'm not going to get too much into the details of that. But essentially, we work with tier 1 publishers, and we try to address a lot of the issues that they face. And consequently, the issues that they face directly affect all the really big brands that want to be doing video advertising online.
Take me through that a little bit more.
So the basic idea is that if you're a tier 1 advertiser, right? Say you're like a Forbes, okay? Forbes is not a video production house, but Forbes is getting their highest CPMs from video pre-roll. And there's the highest amount of demand from brands for video pre-roll on tier 1 sites like a Forbes. This drives Forbes insane because they're leaving so much money on the table.
Opportunity cost,
and it drives brands crazy because they can't actually get enough tier 1 video inventory to satiate the amount of demand they have.
Right.
That's the basic idea. So what our platform does is we've created a new type of video format that expands directly within the editorial content. And so we're monetizing all of the editorial pages with large format, high definition video.
So talk me through that though, right? Because the age-old challenge within publishers, traditional publishers, right, print, is this idea of the editorial desk being so threatened by video because the idea is people will read less, right? Whether it's digital or it's actually in the publication itself. I mean, how do you marry that? Like, how does monetization organically, because in order to work, it has to be organic, right? The consumer experience can't be compromised. But how do you actually culturally get your publisher clients to get on board holistically? Because it feels like the editorial desk has to be on board as well.
So how do you not piss off editorial and users, basically?
Yeah.
So that has always been a tricky thing for any type of new format. It doesn't matter if it's display, it doesn't matter if it's video. That has been, if you're business development at a tier 1 publisher and you're trying to get more revenue, you want different formats on your page. But like you said, the editorial staff controls that environment, as they should, right? That's their palette. So the units themselves, they have a skip button that shows up from the first second, so somebody can collapse the unit if they want to. And it pauses if over 50% of the unit's not on the screen. And by the way, that solves all the viewability issues.
Right.
So the units were actually built with a lot of research and development in terms of the consumer experience. The reason that the vast majority of tier 1 pubs are working with us now is because they can get it past the editorial staff. Where the editorial staff will say, this is not an interruptive experience for the user. We're not getting any pushback from our users, and we're generating a lot of additional revenue. It's a no-brainer. Okay,
so one of the things we don't talk about a lot, probably because it's not sexy, but what are the guardrails around adjacency or native, right? Because, do you define that by semantics? Do you define that by language? Because if you would be able to do that at scale, there has to be something other, than someone sitting in an office just QAing it, right?
Yeah, our platform. We have a very cool contextual tool based around semantics, just like you said. So basically, preloaded scans a whole page. It looks at words into sentences, into phrases, into paragraphs to determine what type of content the page is talking about, and we serve it out accordingly.
And have you had any oh shits?
Not yet.
Okay.
Yeah, thankfully.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good. And so where do you see? What's this look like? Native advertising can't possibly be the end all be all for publishers, right? Where else are you seeing them pushing back on how they can start to actually monetize their content with richer content experiences overall?
Well, I think that some of them are using these types of units to promote their content as well. So one of the things that a big tier 1 pub that's trying to get or trying to produce a lot more video content has problems with is getting more eyeballs on their content.
Right.
So they might be actually using our units because they have full control over the unit, right? We're just their SSP ad server, okay? So they can put some of their own content within the
So are they
content
establishing the business rules around the adjacency of the sort of in editorial content?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I mean, it's a platform for publishers, so they have full control.
Okay. So what's the next year look like for you? What's 2015 look like?
More expansion.
Okay.
More expansion. And
so you're going deep, not as wide per se.
right. We're trying to be, in the last year and a half, we've opened up in the U.S. Right now we're in New York, Chicago, Los Angeles, San Francisco, Dallas, and we just opened Detroit. And we're going to be expanding further into Canada and some other key markets here. We just expanded into Asia with Seoul, Singapore, and Japan. So there's going to be some other key markets that we'll be expanding into. But just what we're trying to do is we're just trying to create ad formats that bring value to the marketplace.
Okay.
Just very simplistic value for brands, publishers, and very easy to digest for consumers.
Awesome. Thanks, Jim.
Thank you.